Okay, I think we're live. Let me have a look. Forgive me here, I'm just gonna mute. Okay guys, we're just chatting about the markets here. As everybody knows that's paying attention, Bitcoin is on a rip. So we're tearing up Bitcoin 44K as we speak. We're looking at Ethereum 2300, poking out of 2300 now. Lots of strength in the markets here, guys. Let me just share this with the Telegram real quick. And yeah, I mean, I'm getting views, but definitely not a lot of guys in the Telegram. You know, would appreciate if you guys like, comment, share, all the good things for the algorithm. Again, I do have a Telegram. You guys can join. There's about 100 members in there now. And yeah, we're looking to grow both the channel, the Telegram, so we can share this with all you guys. I do have a sponsored video that's going to be coming up. I'll be doing that later. And that'll be a separate video. And just remember, it's sponsored, guys. This is my... This is going to be my normal content, is this stuff here. And then, oh yeah, right, we changed. I added some charts here because I am using Bybit now. I was using BitGet charts before, but now I'm using Bybit because of breakout prop. So this is an amazing prop firm that just came around. It is a crypto and FX prop trading account. You know, if you want some leveraged accounts, these guys offer that. You know, what prop trading is basically, where is the plan? Let's go see. So basically you get access to a terminal and a certain amount of capital, and you just pay an amount to start trading. So you just have to pass their breakout evaluation, and then you can become a funded trader. So you see here, there we go, we got the evaluations here for legacy and crypto. Crypto is a two-step. Legacies, you can do it in two-step or one-step. But crypto two-step, you know, you can start as low as $50. And then up to 100K for $725. This is a refundable fee, so if you do pass and request a payout, then the cost of the evaluation will be added as a one-time bonus for your first payout. So yeah, just keep that in mind. It's you know, it's a good option for people that don't have a lot of capital to invest, but they want to have access to you know, a bit of capital to be trading with. Anyways, I do really like this, and you know, Trader Main, shout out Trader Main, and Crypto Cred, both of them with Abe Trade, and I forget the other guy, but they all basically pooled together and, you know, started this business. And it's really good to see because they do offer a lot of crypto. Like as you can see here, Pepe, Shib, Aave, Ada, Ape, APT. The list's huge. It's huge. It's actually a really It's an exciting platform for someone like me who's a more crypto trader sort of natively, who maybe wants to go into legacy later. But anyways, that's enough about that breakout trading. Just to let you guys know why, you know, I am going to start looking at Bybit charts, and we can kind of do that. We could, you know, mark up the Bybit charts right now, and let's actually start with the daily, just so we can see, you know, what we were looking at. So yeah, basically I had this marked out as a date. You know, it seems that we've kind of jump run that. So last time I did a video was the 29th. So the 29th was right here, you know, within this candle. That's kind of where we were at. And yeah, I mean, I'm just going to stop right there for that second to basically, you know, take a little bit of clout. I'm going to be a clout chaser for this one, because I did say here, I think if, you know, go back to my video, I was saying the likelihood of us going upwards was more likely. So we'll drop down to 4 hour and just take a look here, and we can see, yeah, basically from the 29th, where does it start? 29th. So starts here, goes to here. So this is, you know, I mean, it's one of those points in, you know, which we almost retest a new high, but we didn't. So do we fall out, right? I said that that's a possibility. We could fade up and then fall out, or go down and continue back up. Now we did neither of those things. And this is just the proof that, like, I mean, you can never really know what's going to happen, and you never really know what event or what traders are buying and selling in markets to understand, like, which way is this really going to go. But I did have a, you know, a sort of marker here at the 38K 850, and that kind of suggested that if we push up against this, that we're going to push up to at least 42. And look at that, right to our marker, it pushed up against it, and now it's actually pushed up out of that as well, and it's continuing on up. So we can see that on the larger trend. You know, we're just on this parabolic rally, which I thought back in 2017 when I seen something like this, I was like, that's the top, and I sold. You know, it happened that I timed it very well in that market. I, you know, regardless of what I did then, afterwards, I, you know, ended up losing it all in altcoins. But the point being is that usually after a parabolic run like this, it's not very sustainable, but that doesn't mean that this can't continue going. I mean, it could continue going. If I look in the past, just to try to find something of similar note to sort of understand where we could go from here. Yeah, I mean, this is, if you look at this and tell me it doesn't look the same, then I don't know what you're talking about. But look at this and look at this. They look pretty the same, right? And what does price do? It breaks out over this and it never comes back. So yeah, I mean, breaks out over this, never comes back. This parabolic rally continued literally until April. So I mean, end of September in 2020 all the way up till April in 21. So about half a year. Yeah, right about until April 21st. 420. Oh, it was just before. Coinbase IPO. Send it. Oh yeah, Vitalik Ruggs dogs. Send it. Anyways, I digress. They just look the same. They just look the same. Doesn't mean it has to play out the same. You know, this could be where we're at now. You know, I don't know, does it just dump and then continue? Just like it did here? Dump, continue? I don't know. I don't know. All I'm saying is I'm farming a little bit of clout just because I brought this to your attention at a pivotal point in the market right here where we do that, right? So, I mean, when you see something like that, how do you play that, right? So you can enter here, stops under here, and just let it run. Man, I mean, you got to be around to have the conviction is one of the things, though, because if you're not paying attention to my last stream, then you wouldn't have caught it right, you know, here to be able to play this anyway. So regardless, I digress. We're just taking a look at price and just looking at the analysis of what's happening right now. Let's jump down to, I think 15 is, yeah, that's basically what you get for free. Anyways, you know, we're kind of looking here. I did have, I had this marker on here. I don't know what for. It's there. I'll check the last stream and see what it's there for, but it doesn't really matter right now. You know, we're looking at a potential downtrend here that breaks and continues to the upside. Potential downtrend here, broke, continue to the upside. It's really just, things are just breaking and moving up, right? So next sort of zone I'm looking at here, you know, do we consolidate here, dip down and then go back up, or do we just progressively continue up to here, you know, like we've done here, right? Just continue progressing upwards. So we could just like fade upwards. And I think, you know, is it likely that we do this to go back up there? It's not on this type of run, but it's also 100% possible. We can just take a look at what's been happening in the past recent rallies. Whoops, we grabbed that. Right, do we need to come back there and test it? No, not necessarily. Right? Here's a good example. Right? So like here's a low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And it went up. And it didn't have to go back down to retest. Whoops. It didn't have to come back down and retest this high here. It just continued on higher. So look, I mean, it's possible that, you know, we do this now, right? So we could do that now. Definitely possible. I just think there's so much strength, and there's just so many people that are not actually positioned well enough, maybe? I don't know. Santa rally? Maybe I'm coping for higher prices. It doesn't really matter. Now that we're above here, you know, we could see a potential pullback to the 42 because 42 was the range that I was looking to break or stop, right? So maybe we just overshot, and now we're gonna play around here, make our way up there, play our way here, fade down back to 38. Either way, I think we're pretty bullish. Like, even if it did this, that's bullish because it's like an inverted head and shoulders type pattern. You know, it ends up in a breakout because if you look at this, right, this is the flag, and it breaks out and retests. So you can just enter something like that, right? But where we go from here, again, it's unknown. I think that's pretty good on BTC. You know, we're trending upwards. So I mean, let's go back to the daily and just look at back where we were saying where there's, you know, a reflection point based off price here, because that's really what we want to see, right? So there's a reflection point based off price up there. Let me see if we can sort of bring the resolution down by taking the down moves and the down energy and seeing where we can get out of that. Maybe this. Yeah, so this gives us a little bit better perspective here of what's coming on the upside. So we sort of flew through this empty space, as you can see, like not much stoppage, up to the 44.7. That's sort of where we tapped. That's why, you know, it is possible we could tap right back down to the 40.39.5 region. Otherwise, we could continue with the veracity that we did push through. I think we could continue up to this 48.49 region. But I mean, we are on a tear. Look at this, right? It could easily stop here and just continue back down a little bit, just like it's done in the past, you know, on certain corrective dips. A little bit of a dip here, you know, not a whole lot. If it continues, you know, being bullish upon this ETF narrative, that's, you know, seems to be driving a lot of people's eyes towards this 7.5% down. You know, that's looking right around that 41, 42 mark. If we're doing something like what we did here, you know, if we do something maybe bigger, but our move is much more furious. So it's closer to something like this, where we're just going to maybe continue just trending higher. So like maybe we see that, right? This is the trend higher. This is the trend higher maybe. So yeah, maybe it's shorter lived. Maybe not, because a big inflection point is going to happen January 1st. So we're going to just put a mark there just because it's January 1st. So we want to remember that, like, you know, this is a big inflection point on the market. So a lot of people change positions and things like that. Anyways, let's move on to Ethereum, because we can see there's sort of a different picture being painted here rather than, you know, this is the breakout here, you know, in October, and we got this massive breakout. But we really had the breakout from previous structure, I think back here in, you know, March. So, you know, there's your breaks out of structure, shows you a big W, and then, you know, M down to, you know, reconnect with the lower line here. Which again, we can draw a tighter trend to show you something that would make sense now that we look at it. Sort of this point to this point, you know, we can see, you know, a certain break happens and, you know, retesting there, and same sort of like even tighter range. And look at that, right? As soon as it breaks this, it really breaks it violently. So it's interesting because everybody's looking at these trend lines, they work pretty well. So either way, we're, you know, on this uptrend with Bitcoin, you know, broke out of this sort of lower high here and continued on up, and ever since we've been trending up. We did come back to retest this, right? So that's interesting to see, that that's the mark. You know, we break out, we retest, and then we take off. And what does this look like? You know, big W. So you can see these patterns over and over in the markets. So let's just erase that, because, you know, our squiggle worked out. Maybe our squiggle was not as far as it should have been. It should have been at least pointing to this 42 as our next sort of inflection point of what's happening. I'm going to leave this in here and see if we trend up on that sort of baseline, same sort of trend up as this, right? I mean, we can make it sort of wider, right? Because it sort of trended up like that. So do we trend up like that? Who knows? Let's just see what I mean about Ethereum here. So Ethereum a little bit longer to sort of like break out here, but but we had some, you know, major resistance here, attempted to break out, but just couldn't break this resistance, and now finally we're sort of pushing to the upside, and it doesn't look like we have a lot of resistance here until much higher prices. So let's just take a look here, and we can see, oh yeah, let's see what we were looking at actually on our chart. Sorry, I'm mixing up charts here a little bit. So yeah, I mean, you know, we could see this rejection, like I said, but that it was more than likely, here's the 29th, I was like, more than likely we're going to see a return here and maybe a correction and then we continue. You know, I was again sort of wrong on part of it because it just went up. It just went straight up. So, I mean, again, markets can be unreliable with the signals they give off. But the patterns, you know, they do play out regardless of what you think. So yeah, I mean, again, it pushed up past where our squiggles were, because again, I should have probably drawn this squiggle up to the 24. It seems that's where we were looking at before. Probably looking at it based off this. Yeah, 24, so that's where I'm seeing some volume from the previous system. Let me take in the up and the down. It's going to be a little noisier, but yeah, we can see sort of like the resistance to price is going down as we go up, right? Like we can see this trending downwards, meaning there's less and less volume where that price relies. So there's less and less accuracy on it doing anything or stopping or whatever it may do. The volatility might ignore that sort of thing. Maybe not the right way to word it, but hope you guys can understand where I'm trying to sort of, and this is, see, it's interesting that we see this now. Just to flicker back to BTC, like it's pushed up very hard. Let's go to the 4 hour. So it's pushed up very hard, and now it's kind of just stalling and just taking a breather. And then we can see ETH is now actually continuing the push. So it's almost like catching up to what BTC did. Yeah, very interesting. So, right, we were looking at it pushing out of this region, pushing up to the 2600 region. Based off the volume, we see 2800 sort of the next thing after that. Yeah, so 24, it could be down 23 even, maybe 2350. Yeah, that's kind of where it spikes, 2370 or so, and then 2592 sort of spikes a little bit there too. 28.3. Yeah, I mean, within a certain amount of price, it's not going to be absolutely perfect because, you know, like I said, there are factors in the markets that we can't predict based off just volume and price where it's going right now, especially things like the ETF, right? Like, I mean, this thing was moving presumably because all these people are like, there's an ETF coming, and we saw this happen from, there's an ETF, where is that? I think this was it, yeah. So 27 to sort of 30. I think this was fake ETF news, and then another fake ETF news, and it went sort of 31 to 35. So if real ETF news comes, I think people expect a God candle to, you know, like, we're going to 100K in one candle or something. I don't know what exactly, but, you know, that's, I think, presumably what the whole push of a price is happening right now, as well as we don't see enough people positioned correctly for what they want. So I think that's those are telling signs. We've been going on for quite a while, so let me stop rambling so much and let's just take a look at ETH. So ETH next stop point sort of 2400. You know, is it crazy for me to think that, you know, because we've now broken out of this major resistance point that we just shoot up to, you know, 2800 to 3000 because of the amount of movement that it went straight down from 29 to 1700? Is it possible that, like, once we break out of this 2450 sort of range here, that we really just rocket up to 2900? It's totally possible. You know, that's not necessarily out of the picture. Or that, you know, we're looking at this major sort of bull flag that took since April to fulfill, and now we're broke out, retest, and we're shooting up. I think that's even more of a telling sign that a good possibility that we continue this upward channel. You know, we looked at the last video, we were looking at this upward channel. If it breaks, we didn't want to be part of it. If it continues on this upward channel, we should see really bullish prices. So yeah, I mean, with the intensity of the move here, I think we see something like this sort of play out. But let's just put a little, it could reject and then sort of play in this area before continuing up. And that's kind of the less bullish. And then super bearish, I would say, like, you know, we just reject right away and then continue rejecting. Although this is so unlikely, I just don't think that this bearish scenario is actually even possible right now. But who knows, right? Like, taking a look at something like Solana, we could see, like, this thing actually is just making a rip of a move right now. Let's check it down on the 15. Yeah, look at that. Like, just a rip of a move now, because it's catching up more than likely to Bitcoin's price that happened recently, right? So Bitcoin ran, then Ethereum ran. They kind of actually ran at the same time, it looks like, from the 5th. Yeah, it looks like they kind of ran. They run together usually, but it looks like, again, with this one we see it's continuing. BTC sort of stalling out. Might just, again, continue just stalling out up here. And then Solana, it, you know, didn't really move a lot comparative, and now it's really just starting to move. This is quite a nice sort of situation right here for Solana. I think, you know, for Solana, what were we looking at here? Yeah, so, I mean, Solana too sort of did a good bit of what we expected. Hits the top, hits the bottom, hits the top, hits the bottom, and then break out through the upside. And we sort of broke out, hit near this all-time high, and sort of rejected a bit to retest this sort of zone. You know, this sort of zone has been tougher for us to work with. Where's my box tool? So yeah, I think this sort of range here has been a little tougher for us to break through. See, resistance, breaks through, attempts to support, can't, resistance, 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 and then it's supporting it, it's moving up, it resisted again, support. Now that we found support, and this is, again, look at this TA structure, right? And it's based off this, right? Like, this is your low, high, lower low, higher high, higher low. So, like, basic market structure is low, high, higher low, uptrend, right? Whereas low, high, lower low, downtrend, right? So we go from downtrend to uptrend. That's good. We see this sort of break, maybe retest, go, right? W again, low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Anyways, basic market structure stuff. So yeah, this is actually what we saw come out of here. I said maybe some wiggles. Look at that, perfectly on my wiggles. Like, perfectly. Maybe not the same size, but this is the range that I was talking about. Once this little bit of action happened, we were good to move to the upside. These patterns keep happening. And so eventually, you know, the more you look at these things, the more it makes sense to see them and be able to take advantage of them. So I think now we're looking at a bit of a bigger sort of flag because that rejected on the upside here, right? So we just kind of redraw this a little bit. This tighter range here, you know, we could look at this. We don't really want it to break through that. Through this would mean lower, to this, to lower. We don't want to see that. But what we're, I think, looking at is sort of this type of move out of here for the green. And let's actually, what I want to do this time for this one is I want to bring in that price action. Whoops. I should really be doing this one on Bybit. Oh yeah, I do have a Bybit one too. I should be doing it on Bybit because we're going to have more history. So Bitget doesn't have a lot of history, especially from coming up. Right, so... let's see if we can get it from the top and get some more. Wow, all the volume was in the bottom. So it's kind of, it's tough, I think, unless we erase. Let's just look back at this area then. Maybe we can just zoom into that. That's, oh, excuse me, from the top to the bottom. Yeah, that's okay. That's giving us something to work with here. So where we're at here, 65, a lot of resistance. 70, some resistance. 69 meme for the culture. Let me get the 69 meme for the culture. 69 to like 71, basically. 82, 89, 101, 111, probably 135, 140, right? So I mean, we can look at this too, just based off this stuff, and just see, like, I think 95 will also be 95 to 101 will sort of be a resistance point just based off psychological resistance. But like, it moved so violently. I think I talked about this last stream, from 95, you know, down to 35. I think especially this area, just all these red candles, good chance that we just play straight up through that zone. But again, it does not have to do that. So yeah, we can just draw this out on the new one here. Because yeah, I'm going to be using Bybit just as better option for me, I think. So yeah, this sort of trend, let's see. So we want to take that into account, but I also want to get one of these candles down here. That seems pretty close. Yeah, that seems pretty close to what we're looking at here for the uptrend. Don't want to see that break. Again, it could potentially do a retrace. Take it down to the 4 hour. You know, again, we're looking at this sort of tightening range here. So up, down, up, down, through, and I mean that's a W, right? So once we break, I believe here 65,950, sort of this range, 65 range, 65 to 65.5, or sorry, 66, 65 to 66 range. You know, look for something like that. Maybe rejection and continue price up. Otherwise we could have like sort of a up and then reject and play around. Sorry, that was pretty bad. Up, reject, up this trend, or you know, reject here and just go to nowhere. I don't know. I don't believe that's the case. Let's switch this to white. Got our Christmas colors on. Alright, so yeah, sorry, I've been watching Harry Potter recently. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. So that's kind of what we're looking at for Solana. Now I think there's a good likelihood of this pushing up into the foreseeable future here. You know, does it happen by whatever dates, January 1st? Who knows? It could potentially go sideways like this and then do all that. Both are totally possible opportunities. You know, the one thing I'll say with Solana is, as we saw in looking at this, that, you know, from the 29th straight up, and Ethereum straight up, and then Solana from the 29th, like, it went up, but now has retraced and, you know, potentially continue. Although that's pretty good. Yeah, it did kind of go straight up as well. It just, we didn't see this in Bitcoin or Ethereum. Well, I guess we saw a little bit of it, but it didn't do much of it. Bitcoin, yeah. See, Bitcoin didn't do much of it. It did not retrace this full move. So, catch-up play, I don't know. You like chips? I don't know. Doesn't matter. One more thing we were looking at here, just to get a little degen with you guys. Whoops. We were looking at MYRO. I mean, that's just unreal. That's an unreal chart. You can't even see anything on that. So yeah, 4 hourly, we can see a little bit more what had happened here. We were looking at this on the 29th to just potentially just rocket out of there. We got a bit of a deeper sort of retracement, but we saw that, you know, that thing we're looking for. Did it go up? Did it break it again? And does it just rocket upwards? So we saw that happen. You know, where are we at now? We hit this top. You know, we kind of maybe will continue like that. I don't know. A lot of rejection up here, and it looks like a lot of volume at the 36. Oops. Let's actually just put some markers in there. So, ton of volume there. Ton of volume there. Ton of volume there, right where we're at. Right? So I think we like maybe bounce around within here for a little while. And then continue upwards. That's the white. Bullish. We could, you know, maybe give one last push down. And then once we bust out of this downtrend, I think it's, you know, we will continue up into this, what we saw in the wicks. Because that's price. Price is people, and that something was there. Does that mean it has to do this? Don't even listen to me. It doesn't have to do anything. You know, 240% in the past month, you know, it doesn't have to do anything. It could go right to zero, right? Like 442% if you caught this low, right? And that's like, that was back at the 10 mil market cap. It sort of really dipped down to 10 mil market cap and shot up, right? So sitting around 34 mil market cap now. You know, when I talk to you guys about our 20, you know, even from there, if it's some point the 29th, you know, even if you bought the top of the 29th, still up like 30% since there, right? Peaked out at 140% since there. So either way, yeah, like, I mean, there's with the stuff like this degen, you know, you gotta sort of play it quick, or you know, take some profits and just leave some into ride, is at least what my suggestion is. Take some profits, leave a bunch into ride, and then you're not worried either way, right? You've the least amount of risk possible. Bonk, I mean, this is the thing, right? This is meme on Solana. So this is a dog coin on Solana, right? And we can see it does this, and it just goes up. Now this one's at about 400 market cap, 450 market cap. Let's see, coin market cap, and let's have a look. Oh, there's MYRO. We're gonna search for bonk. Oops. Wait, what? Here we go. Bonk. Number 223. Look at that. That's pretty insane. 425 million market cap now. 423. 87 million in volume. Fully diluted says 8785, but you know, there's only half of the supply is circulating. So that's very interesting. But you know, we look at that, and then we go back to MYRO, and we can see here 32 mil. You know, that's the full market cap, 30.9. Fully diluted is 32.7. So yeah, 30 mil market cap. Number 596. I just think for memes, as far as memes go, if you want a good meme to grab, this is like, it's definitely a longer term play. Trust me, like, it's just a longer term play, right? Look at Bonk. Launched, did nothing, then it moved. Mind you, like, if we look at MYRO, right, we just launched. Do we do that? Nothing for a long time and then go? I don't know. It's all possible, right? If we look at Bonk and then take that into consideration, it could be a long time, right? How long did this take to peak though? That's 3 days. Yeah, I don't think that's happening with MYRO. 1, 2, 3 days to peak, which is insane. Like, I don't even know what happened there, but 3 days to peak, then nothing. This was a bear market, so I would kind of ignore that. And just take into consideration that if Bonk is doing this, you know what I mean? Do I have Doge on here? I don't think I have Doge. So Doge, right? Let's look at Doge on the daily. We're 2021. As the bull market started, you know, I mean, are we just going to do that? Not quite. That's a huge market cap. That's a huge market cap, right? So, I mean, we're probably closer to this with Bonk, right? But even that, 1.8 billion, right? Like, it went from the hundreds into the billions, back to like the low billions from almost 2 billion, and then moon. I mean, that's an insane candle, 400% a month. That's insane. Or not a month. That's in a day? Unreal. In 2 days, 1200%, right? Like, I mean, is that what's going to happen with Bonk? I don't know. 2000% in a day. And then it still did this. Look at that. That's tiny. We could be here with Bonk. Right? We could be right there. This could be Bonk. Next we see this. And that's the blow off top. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Either way, just talking some stuff. You know? Is this the Bonk? The run up? Right? We're past all-time high. We consolidated underneath and just ran it. Does that mean we can't re-see this? We could. And just go. You know, go from 400 to the 1 bill. 1 bill would be around here somewhere. So 1 billion. Let's just circle that and see what happens. What do, you know, we could continue and just go straight there, or we could reject and go down. I mean, all these things are possible. All of these things are possible. And none of them also. We could just flatline. Total flatline. Right? Put that in there for safe measures, for safekeeping. Alright guys, I've gone on long enough rambling to myself about crypto prices. Absolutely bonkers. Anyways, I'm going to do a sponsored video next and just kind of review a project that I'm taking a look at. And they wanted me to cover it. So hope you guys all have a good one. You know, hopefully next time we talk, prices are just going to continue going up. That's my personal feeling. My feelings don't matter, and that doesn't actually mean anything. I'm going to risk a little to make a lot. And so I'm always going to use my proper risk parameters and make sure that I'm not over leveraging or blowing myself up prematurely. So I suggest you guys do the same, and you don't listen to me actually for financial advice. Just don't blow yourself up. Just be here in this bull market, and even though it looks like price has gone up so much from these lows, 170%, that's a lot. You haven't missed anything yet. Let's go back to just a sec here. Where's my BLX? This is all the crypto price, if you ever want to see it, you know. So like, we haven't even broke all-time high, right? So if we look at a like sort of projection, just the last thing I'm going to mention before I go, look at a projection from here to here. That's about halfway, right? So here to here, halfway's about here. Sorry, halfway's right about here, actually. Yeah. So, I mean, this one broke up maybe a little earlier, but I'm just like, you know, once it broke all-time high, where did it go? 237%. Once it broke that all-time high. Let's take a look. When we break this, and if we're just conservative, let's say it does half. I'm not even going for 200%. I'm going to do half. It was like 230 or 270. Let's do half. 130. That's 150K. That's 150K. Okay? So just consider that. Keep that in mind. That's a pretty big move from here. Right? You can grab that same... You could potentially grab that same amount that we saw there. So yeah, just keep your eye on the markets. Things are going pretty crazy right now. Things are pretty hot, so don't forget to take your profits. Don't listen to me. I'm not a financial advisor. Hisoka is sick. I'm really excited about this VRM. And that's Andy's Crypto Talk. Tuning out for this one.